You know, it's early in the year on the Missouri River. In the last 3 to 4 years, there's been more of those fish that are over 12 pounds showing up, and I personally think that state record is going to get broken again. There's a lot of those top-end, enormous fish getting caught in the Missouri River right now. There's a fish.
All right.
Yeah, this is a good fish. Oh yeah, look at there, look at there. All right, buddy.
Good job.
That is an awesome walleye. Look at that. That's a 30-inch fish.
Absolutely. We'll be coming in, this will be your deep edge, and then on this side it tapers out. There's a horseshoe up top, and then there's a bar.
Okay.
And sometimes those fish will tuck in underneath and stay in the deep pockets, or also move up on the outer part in the bar area. We've been basically watching their side imaging and finding where they're at and working those areas. This water's just boiling pretty good here. That's a good fish. I just let it sit on the bottom, Jason.
Looks like a heavy fish.
It is nice fish.
Oh yeah, here, let me get the net here. Wow. They have some spunk to them, don't they?
Oh, this solid. Shoulders on this fish. A lot of big fish coming out of the system this year, Jason.
Yeah.
Late ice and...
Here we go.
All
There,
right,
nice
thank
work
you.
there, bud. Nice work. Grab a pliers here and one hooker here first. There. It's a nice, it's like a nice spawned out female. Yeah, look at that. That's just a gorgeous fish. Do you want to hold her there? It's your fish there, bud.
Take a look at that.
Show her off there and get her back in the water, but
You bet.
nice work.
Healthy fish, nice colors.
That's why people are out here.
That's exactly why the people come to this fishery.
All right, let's get her in the water. Nice work there.
Hey, put her back. Great
Gotta
fish.
love that, bud.
Absolutely.
I just love that, casting jigs, plastics, and just getting whacked by walleyes that size. It doesn't get any better. The Missouri River near Bismarck, North Dakota has long been just a phenomenal spring walleye run. Great numbers of fish push up in the river in the fall and then again in the springtime, but you look at all the fish that are in Lake Oahe, and obviously not every fish that is in Lake Oahe swims all the way up the Missouri River, but a good percentage of those fish do push up, and so you look at that area between, say, Hazelton all the way up to Washburn. I mean, there's just a tremendous amount of fish that just get concentrated in this river every spring. Here's a fish, here's a fish. Oh, I'm gonna hit spot lock here. Just not as big as yours, but a respectable walleye right there. There, look at that, nice. Isn't that something? You just see these fish get a little pale when they've been putting the miles on. Classic river fish. In the Missouri River here where we're at today, a lot of when you look at the big picture as far as where you find the slower water, some of those slower current seams, and a lot of them are caused by sandbars. And so these sandbars are shifting, they're changing all the time, and they typically can provide some pretty large spots, and in just that slower slack water where you're going to find these fish resting. You know, it's early in the year on the Missouri River, and the water's really high. I mean, they're letting a lot of water out, and so the water's much higher than what you'd consider normal. Fish are just coming out of the, I guess you call it post-spawn walleyes, in the sense that there's still a few fish that haven't dumped their eggs. The males are still milking. The females are just coming out of that, but you know, it's just been so cold, and so these fish aren't shallow sun tanning like you'd normally find them, and so we're finding them in some different spots here, but we're going to mix up our tactics here and see if we catch a few fish.
What we're looking for here is mainly these fish aren't holding, like Jason said, up in the shallows. They're staying in these deeper pockets. The water's high, so you know, it takes away a lot of the spots where those fish are usually hanging out. So it makes the river a lot smaller. The fish are focusing in and staying in certain areas, so it's kind of tough with all the boats to get into these spots. So we're kind of lucky today that we can sneak in a couple of these holes.
You know, the biggest challenge with high water is just finding and identifying those good spots, and basically you're just trying to find areas that have a reduced flow, and typically that's created by sandbars. The problem with high water is that velocity moves and pushes that sand around a lot. Sometimes you can actually see the sand in the water getting pushed downstream during that high water. And so a lot of times the spots were bigger, you know, and they're just, you know, offshoots off of the main channel where those fish could rest.
Got one.
Got him? All right.
This here's great fish right now. We've got a good year class here. They're healthy. Fish are moving up. The big fish are up in the system right now, and there's more big fish being caught this year than I can remember in the past.
You know, it's just a classic river spot in the sense that there's a main flow coming down. There's a rock wing dam up in front of us here. Then there's a sandbar behind us, so you can just see where there's just two different directions of current, where you have the current coming back and swirling up, and you can feel it on the boat where you get in this little bit quieter water. You got that strong river flow right out in front of us, and you just get sucked up into here where you can just really feel that current get toned down. And then, you know, the whole trick is find that toned down current with the right depth. And so there's just a little slot in here that's 8 feet, 9 feet, out to 13 feet here in front of the boat, and we're just using spot lock, easing up in here, using the trolling motor to anchor the boat, and then just casting around the boat here and see if we can find them. Got him?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh. Felt a little tougher. That one felt a little bigger right away. Pitching with a minnow. I have more confidence in minnows. Haven't used a lot of plastics, but the plastics have been producing bigger fish and a lot more fish, but I still like using the minnows.
You know, we're just trying to figure these fish out here right now. We haven't found out anything that's just a silver bullet. We're kind of finding a little bit of everything is working, but Sheldon's experimenting with minnows. I'm using soft plastics here just to see if these fish have a preference. And you know, I use soft plastics all the time just because of the efficiency, the durability. There's a lot to like about using a soft plastic in the river. You know, these fish, these current sweeps that bait by so fast, a lot of times these fish don't have a chance to react. But, you know, there's situations where you can't forget about minnows either. You know, it's really cold out today. It's like a high of 35 degrees. Just say it's a massive cold front, so the water isn't warming up. And so, you know, whenever you have major fronts, you know, even on the river, sometimes it can just slow these fish down enough to where live bait can be the answer. Or if you get in slack water, sometimes quiet water away from that current flow where these fish have more of a chance to examine your presentation. You know, those are a couple of situations where we'll sometimes have to, you know, use live bait on river systems. With fishing, you never say always and you never say never. So you always have to be open to doing whatever works. Got him?
Yep.
All right, how's he feel?
Feels all right.
All right, might have to switch up to live bait. You've got the minnow, I've got the tail. Good eater. Are you casting right up in that chute again?
Yep. I stuck that minnow right up on that edge, Jason, where the water's coming back. Yep. I stuck it right up on that edge and I dropped it off and let it sit for a little bit, and he hit it.
Yeah, the fish aren't hammering the baits, that's for sure. They are they're definitely off. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna switch up to a minnow too. I've actually missed a few fish on this tail. You can see here where I've actually bit it off just to try to shorten it up, but time to change it up here. You know, when you are fishing rivers and you're fishing especially high water or fast current, especially if there aren't any snags, there's a lot of advantages to using tungsten. Now when you're dealing with strong current and just current with high velocity, high water, tungsten can give you a big advantage. So here's a tungsten jig that's 3/8 ounces. This is that Clam Pro Tackle tungsten jig here that we're using on the river. Here's a traditional lead jig that's 3/8 ounces. We can just see how much bigger the lead jig is compared to the tungsten. And basically they're both 3/8 ounce, they're both the same weight, but because of the smaller diameter, this is gonna cut through the current a lot better. It's gonna be a lot more sensitive. Now it's not for everything. Tungsten's also more expensive than lead. And so if you're in a situation where you're dealing with a lot of snags, for example, tungsten isn't the answer. But if you're dealing with situations where you have fast current, high water, and you're not snagging up all the time, try tungsten. There's a lot of advantages and a lot of things to love about using tungsten when you're fishing in rivers in the spring. There he is. She's coming up. Oh yeah. Dude, I'm just gonna try to lift her in. Do I dare? There. Nice fish, huh? Look at that. Beauty. Beauty. Boy, that looks like a female that hasn't spawned out yet. So. All right, I'll get that fish in the water here. And I switched up to a minnow here too, and it's getting colder. It's starting to snow a little bit. You wouldn't ever think that it's almost the middle of May with the temperatures, but I tell you what, you know, sometimes the fishing, you know, you just have to try different things until you find out what works. And if I had my pick, I would always use soft plastics on a river, just because I've had so much success with it and it's just so efficient. But I think I'm starting to give the nod to the live bait today. And so, you know, it's just a deal where we're glad that we've got minnows in the boat, but you know, it's cold out, and so, you know, I think sometimes with these fish, when they're post spawn, you know, they want to warm up, they want to speed up their metabolism. And I often wonder, you know, afternoon comes out, that sun comes out, and even if the water temperatures don't warm up, these fish will slide up where that sun can hit their back. And if it stays cold, you know, that metabolism just doesn't get cranked up like in, you know, a typical early May situation that you'd expect. And so we're just trying to adapt to the conditions. What we're doing, using a long shank hook, just so that hook comes out a little bit further back on that minnow. So again, you know, when the fish are off, they're not going to get that minnow the whole way. That long shank hook, I think, it increases your batting average dramatically.
There we go.
Got him?
Yep. I love it when they flex their muscles like that. Nice one.
There's a fish. That fish was way up on the sandbar. I'm gonna lift this one in too. There we go. If I break my line doing that, I'm gonna kick myself, but it's kind of cold out here, so. Nice, you know, that fish was right up on the break. You can almost see the sandbar right out in front of us here where it's literally a foot and a half of water, and we're just casting up and just dragging them down. And you know, and I think this is pretty typical too. As the day's worn on, even though the sun's not out, you know, it's still warming up, you know, maybe 2, 3, 4 degrees. As the day's wearing on, it's like some of these fish are sliding up and getting even shallower. Right away this morning, we didn't find any fish up on the sand. They were all deeper in that, say, 7 to 11 foot range. But these fish are looking for that warmth.
Spring bite in the river, there's nothing better. Fish are active, they're aggressive. You got an opportunity to big fish. You're going through bunches of fish throughout the day. You can catch them jigging, you can catch them trolling. Right now, you're gonna catch a lot of these males this size. They're moving up and they're aggressive, so they're healthy. Just a fun fish to catch right now.
Now, one thing that stood out this past 2018 season, something that people are really excited about for this 2019 season, is just the number of big fish that were caught out of the Missouri River. You know, in the last 3 to 4 years, there's been more of those fish that are over 12 pounds showing up, and I personally think that state record is going to get broken again. And so there's a lot of those top-end, enormous fish getting caught in the Missouri River right now, especially in the spring. There's a fish.
All right.
Feels like a good one, Sheldon. Oh yeah. Boy, they just stay down. That's what I love about this. You know, this is a popular destination on a nice day out here, on a weekend especially. You're gonna see boats. There's a reason there's so many people out here. It's just good fishing, good fun. Yeah, this is a good fish. Oh yeah, look at there, look at there. Whoa! That's a big female. Get a net underneath that. There you go. Get her. All right, buddy.
Good job.
Let's keep her right in the water there and I'll unhook her. Grab her here. Wow. That is an old warhorse. Look at that. You can just see how big this fish is. Just, they get those big dog-like teeth. Big old head on her. Look at that fish.
Good job.
That is an awesome walleye. Look at that. That's a 30-inch fish.
Absolutely.
That is a 30-inch walleye right there. That's a 10-pound fish. And I think she's still carrying eggs in her. All right, I'm gonna get her in the water right away. That's over a 30-inch walleye. Whoa! Just need to get woke up. Woo!
Nice.
That is awesome, huh?
Good job.
Man, that's a once-in-a-lifetime fish in some places.
I tell you what.
Oh, that's the thing, you know, is, you know, there's lots of fish, and when you have chances at fish like that, you know, that's what makes this so special. Cool.